Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Nuestra Tabula Rasa for our 31st episode. That's right. Tonight we will be talking about the power and prophecy of dreams. A little bit of both. Probably some power, some of the power of them and the power it has over us. We're going to talk about all aspects of it. I'm sure we will have a wonderful time. And tonight, unfortunately, Lucky Stone is under the weather, really under the weather. So send some positive vibes Lucky's way if you have excess positive vibes. Oh, I'm going to send some his way. And of course, we have our awesome Millie and Trista here tonight joining us. We're going to talk about some neat stuff, I'm sure. And this is not pre-scripted or anything. This is completely, we're going to talk about it all fresh. So here we go. Millie, how's your week been since we last visited?
It's been fast. I feel like we were just last visiting. So it's really picked up speed. But it's been a good week. And it's I've been feeling the new moon that I guess is tonight for the last week. So it must be very powerful. I feel it very powerful. So I think that we're in store for some exciting times. Let's talk more next week.
Excellent. Trista, how's your week?
Yeah, it feels like it's been like 3 days since we were here last. It's crazy. And it's just faster and faster. And I don't know, man, like, need to grab the reins.
Does it seem like, because some of us spoke about this the other day in someone's chat room. I don't think it was mine. It was somewhere. It may have been yours, Trista, or it may have been a him and or Clint's. And we were talking about our age. And as we age, the time seems to go faster. And I don't know, because it's really like getting really fast.
I mean, it's true that it does, but I feel like it's beyond that now. Because I think it was me that made that comment. Because it's true. Like when you're 10, a year is a 10th of your entire life. Now it's like a 50th. So,
Yeah. I never really looked at it that way. Let me get some mega loud shout outs in real quick. Lakeside Laura, good to see you. Christine, Linda, Lindsay, and David. Mama Fryer, Christine, great to see you. I already said hi to you, Christine, sorry. Hi, Kim Kitts, good to see you. Awesome. Millie's here.
Hello.
Mr. Bitts, Incarnate Troll, Richard, great to see you. Mary Wins, excellent. Hey, there's Diana. Good to see you, Diana. Excellent. Who else here? I said hi to Linda.
My friend Shanda's watching, apparently. I just got a message from her, but she's too shy to be in chat, I guess.
Oh, well.
That's okay. She'll see how friendly we are soon.
Her name is Shanda?
Yes.
All right. Shanda, thank you for being here tonight. And there's Sherry as well. Judy in the skies. Excellent. Good crew. Okay, so what really, and I managed to wait until kind of the last minute to decide on a topic for this evening. But boy, I thought, let's talk about dreams. And I don't think I'm really a prophetic dreamer. I don't think I've had any prophecy. Hey, Chloe, great to see you. I don't think I'm really a prophetic dreamer. I think first really you got to get a baseline of what you think about, where dreams come from. And I'm going to say, I think dreams, I almost want to say that dreams are another version of ourselves. We're doing something in that other version of ourselves. So, and that begs the question, are we dreaming right now? And then when we're asleep, we're actually in our present state. And this is the dream part of it. You can go 16 ways to Sunday with this. And any comments real quick before I keep going on, Millie or Trista, about any of that?
I work a lot in my dreams.
You talk a lot?
I work a lot. No, I talk in my sleep too, but I work a lot in my dreams, and I feel like it's different kind of work than this life. So I wonder which life I think is actually the vacation.
That's really interesting. But what really spawned this for me is I had the most amazing dream. I mentioned it at the sunrise session. I had the most amazing dream, and it seemed so freaking real. Well, or maybe it is real and this is not. But it was absolutely amazing, the detail. I was in some kind of really cool office building, doing something office-y, no idea. But whatever it was fun because I was excited to be there. And of course I had a jetpack. So first I did some office-y stuff and I knew the people around me. And then I end up, the next thing I know, I've got this jetpack on. I'm flying down this beautiful coast like a really,
Okay, you're
You
kind of
had your little
cutting
lag.
out a little
I hit lag.
Yeah.
bit. There we
Okay,
go.
and you're
There
back.
we go. You're back.
Did I get to the coast?
You're
Oh,
doing some really fun officey stuff, and you had a jetpack.
yeah, I had a jetpack, and the next thing I know, I'm in that jetpack, and I'm going down almost like the white cliffs of Dover, but they weren't white, and just really tall and very beautiful, and the ocean was crashing next to them. And I thought, wow, this is I. And in my dream, I'm like, wow, this is really cool. And I thought, well, is my jetpack going to give out or whatever? So I came up and landed, and the next thing I'm sitting in some kind of auditorium, and there's people around me that I knew, but I didn't know. And like one person very specifically, and I thought I knew them, and then I woke up. I was like, dang. And that dream has been with me all day. I even had a pistol in my pocket. I haven't carried a pistol in years. But, it's one of those little pocket pistols. Had that in my, I don't know. Maybe it was just an accoutrement for the time. Who knows? It wasn't on my hip, so it wasn't the Wild West. But it's just dreams like that. And I wake up and it just has this profound impact on your entire day. This one's probably going to linger for a couple of days, I would imagine, because I still feel the energy from it. I still feel the excitement. Right now, I feel excited about it. Now, is this some kind of prophecy jetpack? I hope so. I would love to have jetpack prophecy. I think that would be awesome. So let's get to the prophecy, the power. But see, here's the power aspect of it. Very powerful dream. And look, it's still lingering with me 12 hours later, 13 hours, 14 hours later. It is still lingering with me. So keep that in mind. So if you want to go the power route or the prophecy route, ladies, either way, you have the floor.
I hope that real life isn't when we're dreaming because I never remember my dreams. So that wouldn't be very much fun for me, or hardly ever. And if I do, like, I don't really have, well, I shouldn't say that. Usually in my dreams, I'm looking for things. Um, yeah, I'm almost always searching. And that's interesting. And that's an interesting theme. And like coming from a psych background, I'm always analyzing like what does this symbol mean in the dream kind of thing. Though I do believe in prophetic dreams. I think dreams are a lot of things. I think there's the prophetic ones and there's the working out your life ones and the astral travel ones.
Do you think any of them are from God?
Well, everything's God.
Well,
So
no.
is it a
Well,
trick question?
no, no. But God, big G. Do you
I
think?
mean, sorry, go ahead.
Well, do you think about look through the Bible, look through many religious texts, and you have people that dream certain things. And I
Hmm.
think we even have somebody in our circle, in our larger community, that dreams and takes them very seriously.
I do think there are prophetic dreams for sure. For sure.
And you don't know if you've had one. So, Millie,
I don't
oh, go
think
ahead.
that I have. Yeah.
Um, there was a long time that I didn't dream. So I want to say that I started dreaming again about maybe 3, 4 years ago. And in that time, I have had two dreams that have been prophetic, but they've been very short. Um, so the two that I've already kind of felt, one was everyone was hanging out from the beach, and people that I know, and we were looking up towards the sky, and I remember saying, "Yeah, they're sending life force." Before I even realized what life force was, they're
Oh,
sending life force from the sky, and we were all at the beach, and meaning we like a group of people. I didn't exactly know this group of people, um, so I equate that now to the huge amount of solar flares and power and upgrades that we're receiving right now. That's what I think that was. And that was about 2021, 2022. And that was very short. It wasn't a long dream. And the other dream that I had was this August or so, which was a friend that just showed me in his hand the words rebirth and just kind of
mm,
pointed at them. And it was a split second, and that's it. And I believe that this is something that I've just gone through, and many of us have gone through.
Sure.
And that is the only two prophetic dreams that I can remember in recent time.
And let me throw the disclaimer in real quick. Some people just say, you know what deja vu is. Some people will say, now, are these dreams that you're having distinct from a deja vu? So you know the dream, you have it, and then you have this experience.
Oh, it's a dream because I'm it's in the sleeping state and I wake up and I remember, oh, I dreamt that. Wow. You
And
know,
then
and
then you see it happen, then it occurs to you a couple days later, or is it a month later, or
well, the first one, it was a couple of years later, right, when I really
okay.
started to even grasp the meaning of life force, and like the solar plexus, life force is energy, it's life, and like just understanding that whole concept because I didn't know what they're sending life force from the sky was, and that it was yellow. So that was crazy. And it was like almost like meteor showers or something. It was wild. And as far as the other dream, that kind of the turnaround on that was way quicker, way faster. If you count from August till December. But I know for a fact it was a dream.
Wow. Wow.
Okay, but I believe, and maybe this is what you're thinking of, Victor, because I do think that astral travel, like, or that when we dream, we can go before or like future or past. And if we go into the future, then when we get there, or maybe even when we go into the past, when we get there, we remember. But I mean, I think the only difference here is that Millie remembered her dream as it was happening and then again when it happened. So I think that we can have those
Oh,
dreams
okay.
that turn into deja vu when we get there and we go, wait a minute, oh, like I remember this happening, and that's when it happened was in a dream. That's what I believe anyway. Also, I did remember a dream that I had that I don't know if it's like a prophetic dream per se, but it fit quite well into life at the time. So, um, unless somebody else has something to say before I
Oh
like
no, do
launch
share,
into it.
Yeah.
share, please.
Okay. So, and a lot of people might have heard this because I know I've talked about it on my streams before. So this was back right in the beginning of the dark times of 2020. And I dreamed that I was in a car and I was in the back seat. I couldn't see who was driving, which really bothered me. And we were driving up a mountain and there were switchbacks. So we were driving up the switchbacks. And as we were like approaching one of the turns, I was like, wouldn't that suck if we didn't make the turn? And we just went careening like right off. And then we did. We didn't make the turn. We just, in fact, it seemed like the driver didn't even try. So we just go like flying off the side of the mountain. And as we're like flying, I'm like, we're fine. I'm going to be fine. And I just knew that I was fine. And then sure enough, the car just like slowly floated down and landed nicely on this like piece of land that was between the switchbacks. And so yeah, so get out and I'm fine, and the car is even fine. And but then I'm like where am I? And how do I get to like civilization? So I start kind of panicking and thinking like, okay, so if I walk in that direction, like what if I choose a direction and it's the wrong one? Like what if there's a town like 5 minutes away and then I go this way and then I'm walking for days? So I'm panicking about that. And then suddenly I see this woman standing there, and she's like this nice, like great aunt kind of looking woman, short, kind of curly blonde hair, a little heavier set. And I look and I'm like, oh my God. So I start like panicking and like telling her all of my worries. And she just smiled so sweetly and she said, just follow me.
Hmm.
And I fell to my knees and I started to cry and I'm like hugging her around her knees. And that was that. And I woke up. And then when I woke up, I was like, boy, that looked an awful lot like the spirit guide that I met when I was meditating like 20 some years ago. So it was right when I had got into Wicca. I had sat down with the intention of meeting one of my spirit guides, and I meditated, and this image of this woman with this like short blondie hair looking exactly like that lady, and that time I had heard the name Dolores. So she had like been with me all of this time, and then this happens, and I'm like, yeah, they looked a lot alike, but I haven't thought about her in years. It can't be, the same or whatever, right? And then as I'm thinking this, and this is probably about 3 days later, as I'm thinking this, I'm scrolling on Facebook, and you know how there's the groups, and then how the groups like going across, so you can just see like one and then like two halves of like the pictures of the ones on either side. And I could see this picture, and I centered it, and it was a woman who looked exactly like those women, and her name is Dolores, and it was
Whoa.
Dolores Cannon.
Cool.
And then
It's your guide.
yeah, so then I started reading her stuff and like getting all into all of her stuff, and was like, okay. So that's my story.
Oh, that is really cool. So in a sense, though, it was that is in a sense prophetic in a way. It guided you
Yeah.
to Dolores Cannon. Do you think Dolores Cannon's works was profound on your growth, on your journey?
Oh, big time, because she talks all about ETs and subconscious and all of the fun stuff that we talk about.
That's so cool.
That is really cool.
Mhm.
Okay, so how about let's go over to this too. How about reoccurring dreams?
Mm.
Millie, you want to take a jab at that? Reoccurring dreams, have you had any?
I have. I've had two that I distinctly remember as a child, and I haven't had them in a really long time. So I don't know if that means that they're resolved, I'm assuming, but I had one when I was very young, and it was always the same dream, and I would always see the same scene. I actually got a reading on it from Viviani a year ago, and it was me and another child. I was maybe six tops, and what's interesting is that we're looking to hop into, and it was like off the ground, right in a kitchen, and it's what's called now a butler's elevator or something.
Dumb waiter.
Oh,
Dumb waiter.
Waiter.
Yes. Okay. So it goes up and yeah. Okay. So I jump into this thing with another child, and it goes down a flight, and then I look out and I just see like a cafeteria style of long tables and a bunch of children eating. And
I'm getting
then
creeped out as you talk. I'm sorry to
yeah,
interrupt.
yeah. It was super creepy to me. And then we got caught. So I don't know what that was about. And I had the dream several times, and I would never find out my fate, and I didn't find out what I was there doing, but it didn't feel good to me. Later
Mm.
on, what Viviani told me is that she thinks that I was an orphan, and that I was in an orphanage and I wasn't treated well. To me, it felt a lot more sinister, but I tend to have a vivid imagination. So she said that there had been a lifetime where I was an orphan and I wasn't treated well, and that yeah, that I was getting in trouble for not listening and whatnot.
Well, and
But I
not
think I
being
was trying to
treated well
escape.
can mean a lot, because she could have been downplaying what she saw, or maybe it didn't.
Yes,
Maybe all of it didn't show itself to her too, right?
yes. Laura, I don't know. I don't know that I thought but there was definitely something nefarious to it. Um, but yeah, and I want to say all the kids were dressed in white, and I was trying to get out.
Oh, that sounds
I
like an
think I was,
orphanage.
yeah, I was trying to get out, and maybe I was trying to get out with more kids.
That's the first thing that came to my mind too, Laura, was SSP. It's SSP dream. And that's the secret space program. If anyone is not familiar with it, I bet you probably 99% of the people here probably have been involved in that.
Yeah,
People that think like, come that are drawn to things like our topic tonight, drawn to our community, drawn to each of us in different ways. We probably have far more in common than we realize. And it's even
Mm,
cool to think about. Heck, we might spend a lot of our dream time together.
yeah.
Yeah, it's food for thought. Now, Trista, do you have a recurring dream?
So not anymore, but I did. More of a theme than the same dream, but I would always be with one other person, walking along, and we'd see like a low flying plane. And sometimes it was in trouble, like the back was smoking, and we knew that it was going down, or it was like flying precariously. But it was always like something was wrong. And yeah, and then I'd wake up and it was creepy. And that was, I think it was kind of a dual purpose because that was also around the time because when I would see a real life low flying plane, there was one time, and it was only once that it happened this strongly, but then it kind of woke me up to like, okay, there's something weird going on here. Where I looked up, saw it, and I literally like covered my head and crouched down without thinking about it. So I feel like that's probably past life related. Um, and but I also did notice that I would have those dreams a lot when there was something going on that I felt I didn't have any control over.
Oh, so it could be a stimuli from
So
in your physical life, how you
so
have.
it's like yeah, so it's like I'm watching this because that was always the feeling like I can't help these people. I see that they're all about to die and I can't do anything about it. And they probably don't even know yet.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. Now, this person that you said was always in that dream. Is that somebody you know?
It would always no, it was always one other person, but it was
But it's somebody
usually
that
like it was different. Yeah,
is
it's
it
just
like
a different
you
person.
knew them, but you didn't know who they were?
Uh, Sometimes, like sometimes it was a real person who I knew in real life, and sometimes not.
Okay. Okay. I think that's
But
yeah.
it was
Okay.
always with one other person.
I've had I've had a reoccurring dream, and it hits about every 5 years or so, and it's always with my same friend, a lady that I grew up with. We probably met seventh or eighth grade, seventh grade, maybe eighth grade, somewhere in there, and we were really tight. Never lovers, but always very good friends. And that does occur. It does happen. And and the thing is, she's always in that dream, and we're always going up. We're at the mid flight of stairs. You know how stairs will go up in a corner, then they'll turn. There's a big landing, and then you go. We're
Yeah,
always standing right there on that landing, and we're in this enormous hangar. I'm going to say hangar, but you can see the boards missing in it, and it's like super bright blue, and you can see the little fluffy clouds. It's beautiful outside, but this hangar almost feels like it's in the air in a sense. But then it was obviously made of wood because there's pieces, chunks missing from it. It's obviously old, and that's the first time I've ever described it as this hangar. Usually I say warehouse, but we're always right there on the landing, and we always have someone, and she's like right here. I'm on the inside of it, and she's kind of on the outside. I guess I'm standing in the way, and we're just about to get to that second landing, the second flight of stairs. And I remember looking down and I don't see anything, but I know that something is after us. We're in a hurry. We're kind of very critical. We need to get up those stairs. And that's as far as it lasts. It lasts long enough for me to look up there, and then look at her. I think we have hands, and then boom, I'm awake. And then I wake up like, WTF, one more time. Jeez. And then I call her and say, hey, I just had that dream again. So,
It's so frustrating because
it's almost
you
like a
get that sense
double
of
liminal.
urgency.
yeah.
Sorry, what was that, Millie?
I said it's so frustrating because you can sense the the urgency, but yet you don't get to see what happens. That's how my dream is.
What did you say, Trista?
I was going to say it's interesting how it's almost like a double liminal space that you've got going on there because like a warehouse or a hangar is going to be like a liminal space on its own, and then being on a landing because a landing is like an in between,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's almost like you're caught between two things. I want to say two worlds, but
Well, and you think about it too, that applies because if our dreams, we can lay some guidelines here. If our dreams are in fact experiences, either in the future or in the past, okay, let's just go down. I mean, could it be? Could our dreams be that? I think you alluded to that earlier, Trista. Where are you on that? Or
I
like,
think there's different kinds of dreams personally. Like I think that there are the ones that are we're traveling back or forth, and then there's the ones that are more well, prophetic could be traveling, I guess, and then the ones that are more like our brain trying to sort out our life.
so really, like everything that we all mess with, we discussed love at ad nauseum last weekend, and if love comes in a lot of different sub frequencies, what I've been alluding to on Truthwave, and has so many definitions out there. And you notice the difference in the frequency when it's our agape love to one another, and then when we pull it from the love node, you notice the difference. You can feel it. And so think about how many different variations of our dreams, just like any other energy. It's so fascinating to me because some of it might be real shallowy dreams. You can lay down for a quick cat nap and have the most amazing freaking experience. And then you wake up and like, where's that dream been for the last 10 years? And it happens just like that. And okay, so let's see. Diana saying dreams are loaded with our subconscious. Yes.
And I was going to say, maybe it's kind of like our consciousness. So, okay, how do I explain this? It's like, so if we are our consciousness and we're in this little, I don't know, a little room, and we've got all these doors. So we've got like the main door, which is, life. And then we've got the other doors, which is like this kind of dream or this kind of dream or astral travel or, visiting the higher realms or, whatever, where we have all these other options for places and that we can go and things that we can see and do with our consciousness. And maybe sleeping is, when we shut this one off, but then we have all these other options.
I'm going to kind of twist here for a second. Sorry, Millie. I did something. I just realized last night when you said that, because usually I have a very specific way I go to sleep, and it involves going to my realm. You guys know this. Go to my realm and go to sleep there. And last night I fell asleep to James Rink, something he filmed. Watched it on X so I wouldn't get any stupid commercials. It was like an hour and a half, so I had to set my timer for it to go off about an hour and 10 minutes in. I completely forgot that I went to sleep last night under stimuli. And it was James Rink and somebody talking, his guest talking about the SSP and doing all this stuff. And then I have this really cool dream. And I haven't gone to sleep with stimuli in, months. Maybe 6 months. And it's just last night I was like, hey, I'm gonna fall asleep in that space instead of my space. And then I had that amazing dream. It's like one time I remember, 30 years ago, falling asleep to Enigma. Do you guys remember that Enigma album that came out like around 90, maybe late 80s or 90? It was really cool, and it was a remix. Had all those nice beats in it, deep beats. And I slept to that one time and had the wildest dream. I felt busy all freaking night. I woke up exhausted, even though I got to bed at a pretty decent time. So, yeah, I hadn't thought about that in a long time, too. This is fun. I hadn't thought.
Hearing that song, though.
That dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I'm going to have to revisit that.
I like to go to sleep to different binaural beats. I don't always do it, but I'll put on my wired headset and I'll sleep to that stuff, and it's good. The last time I did it was maybe a month ago, and I had such an amazing sleep. It was like really restful. Like I woke up and it was something on rejuvenation, and I woke up feeling rejuvenated. Like it was really good. I need to look for that again.
So do those people know something we don't know? You know, is it something where they find out that the tones is just through research or something, or is it divine? Where hey, I can make this piece of music, or is that their intention they put into it? I know we're getting a little off topic with that, but that's
I
interesting to think about.
I've wondered that. I've wondered that too.
think everyone has a gift, right? And if that's their gift to the world and they know how to work with those frequencies to invoke those feelings and they put in those intentions, then that's their gift, whether they're using it for good or for bad, right? Because some people don't like that. And some people, you get onto the channel and you're like, I don't think I'm going to listen to this, right? So maybe that's our higher self saying, hey, maybe that's not a safe one. And, or they don't
Or not at
resonate.
all. I mean, there can be people just putting shit out and calling it whatever they want and
Yeah,
wanting people to listen to it too,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I
Hmm.
haven't had a lot of well, other than that one, I think you had suggested it, Millie, the sound healers or something like that, and they have like really
Oh, I
long
like them.
tracks that you can put on all night.
Hmm.
And there was a couple of those that I've really enjoyed, but honestly, usually before I go to bed, I listen to The Office or The Golden Girls. Although I'm trying to wean myself off that.
So
So,
you
and
go
it,
to sleep under stimuli then.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and I've been doing that for years. Yeah.
okay. 'Cause I was gonna say some people used to like to sleep with the TV on. I can't stand that. That drives me crazy.
See, it started though when I was with my ex, and he would hear stuff at night, and it freaked me out. So I was like, okay, let's drown that out and put something on.
Oh, tell us what would you hear? Was it an owl?
He'd hear like voices and stuff, and be like, "Oh, do you hear that upstairs?" I'm like, no, there's no sounds upstairs. I'm like, what are you hearing? Well, like talking. He's like, I can't hear what they're saying, but like I can hear voices, and it sounds like they're dragging a chair around.
Well, and maybe maybe he was in the frequency where he could hear it, and you were not.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah, yeah,
I think that ghostly stuff like that operates in a specific range. I think it does. And
yeah. And I mean, he was schizophrenic as well, but I do think that there is a connection there where they hear things that we don't, that are happening on another plane or whatever. But that's what started it, because I was like, that's just creeping me out. So let's drown it out so I don't have to
I'm
hear about it.
sorry, but I think a lot of those people that are deemed schizophrenic or whatnot. I think a lot of that is people starting to go through the spiritual awakening too, and they get labeled and they get drugged up to shut that down. But it's hard
I think
because you
so.
don't know.
I think so too, but I also think that there's a caveat in there where it's not coming through the filter properly. Like, because we can sit here and we can have intuitive moments and go, I know that this is happening in my head and it's not giving me bad vibes. Or if it is, it's still, a kind of like we understand it a bit better. And I think that when when it's filtered in a negative way, I think that's where we end up classifying it a lot more readily as mental illness, because then it's like it's scary for them.
Or
And I
it's
mean,
like
not
an
always,
attack
but for him it was, right? A lot of times it was. So, sorry?
or a psychic attack. But I don't know. That's just like I
But
don't know. I can't confirm that, and I'm not saying that some people
I
don't need
mean,
medication or anything like
when
that.
you live with it long term though, I think it's less likely to be that,
Yeah.
right?
Well, it
Like
starts in their
it's
20s, right? Late
well,
20s.
I'm just saying, like, okay, so having lived with somebody
Oh,
with schizophrenia, I don't think that it was a psychic attack. It was more, what's the word I'm looking for? Sustained. I feel like an attack, like I mean, unless it's like a long-term thing, I guess maybe, but I don't that doesn't resonate with me for his case anyway. I can't speak for everybody, of course.
hmm, that's all really interesting.
yes, it is. It's very interesting. And it's also interesting to think about, have you ever, let's talk about physical response now. physical stimuli, meaning without getting too graphic, because this could go that direction. But think about you're exerting yourself in a dream and you wake up all sweaty. Or do you just wake up sweaty from the intensity of the dream? So you're having a physiological response to whatever. So you're bridging the gap between the dream state and your physical state. Whereas your body's supposed to be asleep. It's supposed to be laying there. And that's what some people think that, oh, when they see aliens, you're in that state between sleep and what is it? It's one of the REM states or something before REM state. There's some state in there where your body is paralyzed. And a lot of people will say, oh, well, you were in that paralyzed state. That's why you couldn't move when those aliens appeared in your room. I don't know. I don't know that, but I think our bodies shut down so we don't act out our dreams, right? Have you guys heard that?
Because that's why when that function doesn't happen, that's when people sleepwalk.
Right.
Oh, that's right.
If they don't have that off switch. Yeah.
But then,
Yeah.
And I've suffered years of
There's
sleep
some, and I think
paralysis also.
Yeah.
wait, I didn't hear Millie.
I said,
Right.
I like started suffering sleep paralysis like when I was 14 for many years until I can figure out how to get rid of that.
The sleep paralysis.
Yeah, really
So
bad.
you were partially asleep and your body would stop?
No, yeah, partially asleep, and then I couldn't. It was like I was restrained. I couldn't snap out of it. I couldn't get out of my sleep state.
Because
Oh,
that spot right when our body's asleep but our mind's awake.
Hmm.
Right. So
And
that's
then
when
my
we can
kids have had
leave
it too.
and astral travel. But then
Hmm.
it's also when sleep paralysis happens.
Yeah, I would astral travel before that for years and fly and all kinds of stuff. And then after a
Yeah.
while, I started getting attacked in my sleep, and it was like it lasted for up until my mid 20s, pretty consistently. And then it would happen every so often, and I think it would happen a lot when I was really, really tired. But I learned, how to take care of it and how to pray over myself, and I always prayed before I went to bed. But there was like certain help that I needed to call in, and I don't know if that was psychologically or what it was. I want to believe that it was that I knew how to call in protection and to stop that. But it happened for a long time, and it would happen consistently. Like it could happen 5 times in a row, and it was just like so frustrating because I couldn't sleep.
oh God, so you would stay days, awake days and days?
No, but it could be hours and hours and hours of I'm going to bed and I'm trying to sleep, and then within 5 seconds it happened again, and I tried to sleep again. 5 minutes later, boom! I have to yank myself up, like or at the time I was already living with someone, and they have to like nudge me to wake me up if they hear me whimpering and stuff because I could at least get out like that. So it's like, oh, she can't move. And it's like, so once somebody touched me, but I mean, I would get better and better at waking myself out of it. And it's like, okay, relax, move your finger. You can move your finger. Like, really, like I'm talking to myself in that state and just trying to get out of it. It's really wild.
So other
Look at that.
people
Diana
you've
just
had,
put that in there. Literally, same thing. Just move a finger.
Uh,
Take it
yeah,
out.
you see?
See?
You see?
Ah, that's
Oh,
interesting.
that is
Go
interesting.
ahead, Trista. Sorry.
so you've had sleep paralysis with other people in the room.
Hmm.
So have you had sleep paralysis and seen things or felt like entities and stuff like that, like a lot of people do with other people in the room?
No. The
Oh,
closest
damn
thing
it.
that I've had to something really funky like that was one time when I was still kind of married, right? My husband got home and
Kind of married.
because I kind of am, but I'm not. so, back when we were sleeping in the same room, and or in the same house even, and he gets home late, and I start hearing conga drums going off, like African music and chanting and literally like like you would see like in a circle like Cubans like they're into the Santeria and stuff, and there's certain rituals and stuff that goes on that where you hear the Congo drums and people dancing
Oh,
and they're wearing white and it's like all that kind of stuff, like a spiritual kind of party. And I hear that music going on, and I open my eyes and I'm like, what? And I'm like, okay, there's nothing playing, there's nothing going on. And I close my eyes again and I can hear it. And I hear like there's like stuff going on. And it freaked me the hell out. And I mean, it's not like we were spooning or anything, but I picked up my blanket and went on the other side and was just like covered my ears and just went to bed. And later on, I was told that it was just something from my protection, that something followed him in that night, and that it was my protection protecting me from whatever it was that followed him in. That they
so
were
it's the second time that
neutralizing
you've
it.
given me shivers on the back of my neck with your stories.
Oh,
And we're only, what time is it? We're 42 minutes in.
oh, we're 42 minutes in. That's nothing.
So you could say,
Ugh,
shiver me timbers. Is that what that means? The
I
timbers,
guess you could.
shiver your bones. Yeah. And speaking of breathing, one thing I noticed, you guys know I'd like to go out and do, if that's what you want to call it, astral stuff. And sometimes I notice I can't breathe. And so what I decided to do is just take away my requirement for breathing. I just take away my requirement anytime I'm out there and doing anything, or even in my dream state. I just remove my requirement for dreaming, and that alleviates the whole thing. Because I'll find when I'm out there, then that's when I might have a problem dreaming. I mean, breathing. And of course, I wake up like I did this actual morning. I woke up and nub is like cramped into my throat, and my head is literally pushed back because nub's back is right there. She wanted that warm spot. Can't blame her, but she was just. And I thought, was she doing that because it was a cozy spot, nice warm spot, or is it to wake me up? Or maybe I wasn't breathing and she was trying to push my head back to get more air or something. It woke me up. So regardless, either way, it woke me up. So
Okay, I've heard.
Breath.
All
Sorry, I
right.
was just going to say, breath is how I propel myself in those situations. So I wouldn't want to not have to breathe. It's like my fuel.
See, and I've heard that cats intuitively know where we are lacking or where we're sick, and they're going to come lay down right
Yeah.
on that spot.
hmm.
And what's interesting is at the time of my life when I did the most astral travel, I did have a cat at that time, and that cat was stuck on me and she would sleep with me every night. That cat was so close to me that you know how they say that pregnant cats, I didn't even know she was pregnant. She was so little. The pregnant cats go away to have their kids.
hmm
She literally gave birth on my bed, where I woke up in the middle of the night and I could feel a little kid, and I'm like, "Ugh," and then I'm like, oh my god, and she was giving birth right on my bed, like in between my legs,
Aw.
like she was that close to me, like she was always with me, and I believe that when I was astral traveling or doing whatever I was doing when I was that young, that preteen age, she was with me every night to make sure that I was okay and to maybe tether me back. I don't know.
To protect you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of those things too, because one of the main scary dreams, something chasing you, you're running and you can't run faster, but you know
Mm.
something's right there. And then falling dreams. I did the Shirley MacLaine thing one night trying to fall asleep, and I was on I was on a helicopter carrier, a really big Navy ship, and had racks 5 high, and so I had this little. My bed was on the top, my rack, and there was like a pipe, so I couldn't really lean out. I could turn over on my side, but I couldn't sit up in bed or anything like that. And I thought, well, I'm going to do that Shirley MacLaine thing because it was in a magazine. Shirley MacLaine was this actress that really used to talk about doing her astral travel and all this stuff back then, back in the 80s. And I thought, well, I'm going to try it. I tried it and talk about freak myself out so bad because I got in that state. And then I felt myself, I did all the exercising up and down my body, tightened up muscles, retracted them, and boom, I felt myself drop out of my body. And I felt myself go through all these layers, and it was getting darker and darker. And I thought, "Am I going to hell?" That's my mindset at the time. Am I going to hell? And I was like, "Holy crap!" And I was like, "No!" And I woke up and I kind of sat up and banged my head on that stinking pipe. But I was just like, "What the holy crow?" I was just, and I didn't have anybody on that entire vessel that I could have that conversation with.
I can
A
imagine.
couple
Mm.
thousand, Marines and sailors, and no one I could talk to about that. It was amazing,
I
absolutely
haven't
amazing.
read enough about her, but she's very ahead of the times. So I've heard, and I've seen like interviews with her, but I've never like read her stuff that she said. I've seen where she
Yeah, me
lives
neither.
and things like that. Yeah, she's very cool.
Well, yeah, and the technique works. I mean, I did it completely. I think it took me 3 nights because I kept trying it. I kept trying it because I thought
Mm.
I'm gonna go travel, go see. Because when you're in that situation that I was in, you really don't. We didn't have cell phones. You don't have access to a phone. Now you can write a letter, but it's going to take weeks to get out and stuff like that. But I thought, well, I'm going to start expanding that portion of my body. I can do this on my own time, and it was really odd. And so is that when you're astral traveling, are you technically asleep? Is that just another layer of the dream world? Is it out in the realm place? Is it, it's or is it just us looking at some way? It's looking at our desire to put labels on everything and classify them so we can get our brains around it.
I would say astral travel is pretty specific because, and I used to not think that, but then like because when I was a kid, I could do it, and I would feel like I was asleep. I would still feel the covers around me, but I'd feel myself lift off the bed, and I always kind of went up to. It felt like just above the ceiling, and it felt like there was a tunnel there. And apparently, that's a thing. Like that is a thing that everybody who astral travels, they get to that part where they just kind of fly in those tunnels or whatever they are. And I thought that was interesting because I didn't know about that before I experienced it. So I think it's a pretty specific, well documented mode of transportation.
I agree. I agree because the traveling that I do now, like in the last 2 months that I've been introduced to, is completely different. Feels a lot safer,
Mm.
and just it's different. I'm doing stuff, but it's different. But because whereas I could fly, and you know what else I used to do really weird, and I don't know if any of you guys have done it. I mean, I was a gymnast for a really long time as a child, and in my dreams, I would walk on my hands, but my legs were kicked over like a scorpion, and I used to be able to like go really fast like that, and that would creep me the fuck out. Oh, that would creep me. I wake up and I'm like, what was I just doing? Why was I getting around like that? And I don't know what that was about. No, is anyone here? Am I the only one?
They used to
Am I
walk
the
around on
only
our
one?
hands like a scorpion.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't do that.
No,
I
It'd
didn't
be
do
never
fun
had
that.
this
though.
thing. No, okay. Yeah, so pretty wild.
And Misha brings up a good
I've
thing
never,
too. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I've never felt unsafe during astral travel. And I know I've read that that's a thing, but like even as a kid, and I don't know if I had more control or more, are we safer as children doing it for any particular reason? Because it just never,
Like Peter
yeah,
Pan.
never,
Was
I
Peter
don't know.
Pan all about that?
Now another question. We don't have much time left, but I want to get to this question. What about lucid dreaming? I had the most lucid
Mm-hmm.
dream I've ever had just, I think, a week or two ago. I probably shared it with you too. The most lucid dream I've ever had because I was being asked something in that, and I knew. And I was saying no to her, to that person. I was saying no, 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 and then it ended. That's probably the most lucid dream I've ever had. So, what say you?
I usually lucid dream when I wake up between let's say three, four, like four, and then that time that I sleep, maybe between 5 and 6 or 5 and 7. That those like the shorter span, that's when I can lucid dream. And there's been one time when I knew someone coming for me in my dream, and I knew what they were trying to do to me in my dream, and I was able to stop it. And I said, "Stop that! You're not supposed to be here. Get the hell out!" And I kicked them out of my dream, and that was really quite wild because I knew already that that person shouldn't be in my dream.
Ooh.
And that's the only time I've done it, like when I've gone to sleep, and it's been like during the night. But when it's those short little stints, I can lucid dream, and I have very vivid dreams too.
Hmm. And like, I don't know if I've lucid dreamed necessarily. Like, there's been times that I'm dreaming that I know that I'm dreaming, if that counts, because I've read that that's part of the definition. But controlling from there, I can't, or I haven't been able to. Because the one time I remember, I'm like, oh, okay, I know I'm dreaming. And I was running from some creature in this dream. And I was like, okay, well, then I'm going to take control of this. And it's going to come through that door. And I'm going to be prepared. And then I'm going to kill it. And everything's going to be great. And then, so I'm like standing there and waiting for it to come through the door. And then a person walked through. I think my sister walked through or something. I'm like, okay, well, that's not, what I wanted to happen. And there was another one where, oh, this was a cool dream. I wish I could remember it all. I'm sure I have it written down somewhere, but it was really extensive. And in that dream, I knew I was dreaming, and people kept trying to convince me that I was not dreaming. No, you're not dreaming. You can't wake up. If you try to wake up, we're just, because it was like an awful, like, dystopian world that we were living in. And I'm like, no, I just have to wake up. And I was like, nope, you're just stuck here. Sorry. I'm like, I need that key. I heard that, or not a key. I needed a coin because I needed to go to a very specific phone booth and make a call, and then I would wake up, is what I believed for whatever reason. I can't remember. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go out, wander out into this field, and I'm going to find a coin. And then I can't remember if I did. I think I did, and then ended up getting distracted anyway or something. It was a very cool dream. It was creepy, but it was very cool.
See, but I wonder if you were working. That sounds almost like you had a mission, like you were on an assignment.
Oh, interesting.
One thing
There
I
were
used
some
to.
weird creatures in that one too. I have to find it. Sorry, go ahead, Victor.
No, you're right. You're right. One thing I used to try to do too when I was in school was in college. I would try to study when I was asleep. I would to do anything. You know how you could learn a language while you sleep, that sort of thing. And apparently, it doesn't really help you. Probably give you bad dreams, if anything. And then Doctor Strange, the Marvel movie with Doctor Strange. What's his name? There's a kid cat. Psst, 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 psst. In that movie, if you haven't seen it, do you guys know who I'm talking about?
I haven't
Millie.
seen it, but I know what you're talking about.
Oh God, you've got to see it because it's really cool. Because he's a surgeon, and he wants to get the use of his hands. He was repaired. He knew a guy that was crippled and was able to get repaired, and it was via energy. It was via energy, and so he goes on this long trip, sells everything practically that he owns to get himself to Nepal, I think, to find this master. And it's a superhero movie. But you got to see how he develops himself so quickly. And he is sitting there studying when he's asleep. And he's going to this library and picking out books and then study. And he learns all this information very quickly because he's maximizing his time while he's asleep. While his body is resting, his higher self is study. It's really interesting if you haven't seen it, Doctor Strange.
I think that's a thing, though. I think we
It
can
is a thing.
learn
Yeah,
while we're sleeping.
bring it.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
But I remember my grandfather telling me something about. My grandfather was more of a medium and stuff, but I remember him telling me something about you got to put a pencil. I don't know where the hell you put the pencil. A pencil in a glass of water. I don't know. But you put the notebook under your pillow, and I want to see if my grandmother remembers. But it was really interesting. But yeah, like if you wanted to do well on the test, you had to do this thing. But I'm going to see if my grandmother remembers or if I have it written down somewhere.
There's a wonderful meme out there of this kid studying, all these kids around his class, and there's this one boy, and he's going like this over his textbook. Here, let me see, like this and going.
I saw that.
Going like this. And going
Little
like this.
Asian
He turns
kid.
the page, yeah. And then he goes like this. I love it. I love it. And that brings in so many things too. That it's just, we just scratching the surface of this topic because there's so many things so many different directions in which it can go, and really all we really have is our personal experiences. And look at all the experiences people in chat have had tonight, saying this and this and this and this, and it's as varied as the definitions of love are. It's as varied in so many ways. And I should have brought if we ever touch on this topic again, maybe we'll have a part 2 when Lucky's here. God, could you imagine with Lucky
I was going to say we should. Yeah. We should have split it into like a series, our dream series, prophecies, astral travel.
Because I have a book. I have a book on dream definitions on what happens if you dream about this or dream about that. And God, I don't know.
I don't have a lot of things in those books. I think they're good as a template, much like we were talking about, like with recipes and spells. Like it's good as a template, but it really depends. Like, let's say you dream about a dog, and then you like look in the book, and it says, well, it means this, but you've had some traumatic dog experiences. Well, it's going to mean something unique for you.
Oh my God.
All right, Peaches.
I love her.
Oh, what is he dreaming
As you're
about?
talking about dreaming of your dog. But that's so funny.
So Kim uses a blue lariat rope.
Oh,
Grab him up and mattress dream hug. Someone stole. What was that Linda wrote? You guys see what Linda wrote.
Not Linda.
well, she says R-rated, but I think it's supposed to be probably worse than that. Even no one heard.
G-rated. G-rated.
See, and
Go ahead.
Diana's talking about she has a series of dreams about abandoned houses.
Ooh.
And I just got into watching videos about abandoned houses about 2 years ago. There's a lot of people that go in and check them out and stuff. But that was another one of my recurring dreams, but I don't remember too much about it because I would only kind of like start to get in the house. But it was a very distinct like Tudor house, like the ones with the slanted roof like that and stuff. And I just would see the house. I'd remember the house, very dark and ominous, and I'd start to go into the house, and I really didn't remember too much about it. But it was always that setting, and I could see the house, and that was that dream. It was so weird, but recurring dreams are pretty wild. What?
Awesome. Laura. It's all the L's tonight, Linda and Laura.
Oh, I wonder what she's up to.
And then Ben being all sciencey about why we dream. That's pretty interesting. Talked about our temporal lobes, our temporal.
I can still remember my locker room. My locker.
Combination?
Mm-hmm.
Jeez, really?
Mm-hmm. And then I gave it. Yes, and then I gave it to my oldest because I actually still had the lock, and I gave it to her, and I'm like, oh, and it was locked, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, and it was one of those things where I just did it, and then I was like, oh, I did it, I opened it. She's like, what is it? And I was like, I don't know, hold on a second, and I had to sit there and I figured it out. At 1436 too.
Oh, now
we all know.
Which kid has that lock now? Who knows?
Well, it's kind of fun that it's been kind of passed down.
Yeah, it was wild.
That is wild.
Yeah, she didn't want a new one. She wanted that one.
Excellent. Well, you guys good? Are you good?
I'm great.
All right. I think
so.
I think you're onto something, Trista, about having a series of these dream things. And maybe part of this, what we should encourage everyone to do is keep a dream journal, or at least us on the panel. Keep a dream journal. If we're going to do a series, we'll talk to Lucky about it. But if we're going to do a series, then we'll keep a dream journal and be fastidious with it. Just really stay on it. And we'll do it for X number of days, or we can do it for 7 days and just keep a log.
I dream like twice a year. I'll do my best. And I do. As soon as if I do dream anything, as soon as I wake up, I put it in my phone. I usually talk it into my phone.
Okay, so you'll be the control. Okay, and for parting,
I'll try my hardest. I promise.
okay, so I'm going to tell you a dream that I had, and my cousin was in it. My cousin, she's probably about 4 or 6 years older than me. Grew up with her, seeing her on all the holidays and stuff like that. Used to be very close to her. And I dreamt I was sitting in her living room. We were watching TV at her house, just she and I, nobody else around for some weird reason. And we're watching TV, and I think it was her existing house or something that looked a lot like it. Just the layout was different. And it was at night. We were watching something on TV, probably the National Finals Rodeo or something. And we heard a bang against the front door. So I got up and I was like, what the heck? I said, are you expecting somebody? She goes, no. And then I heard bang again. And then I walk over to the door and I look through the peephole and there's nothing there.
No.
And I look through the peephole and I'm like, oh my God, what the heck is that? Because there's out in the country, at least here on this part of the country, you'll have like out by the barn, you'll have like just one light on a light pole. You'll have a light. And it's just like this convenience thing they do. Especially if you run power to your barn, you can get a light put on it. And I'm looking through the people and I was like, what in the world am I seeing? Because I got the impression it sounded like something was running up to the door and throwing their body against it. It didn't sound like a knock. It sounded like something was running up and throwing its body, but it wasn't like a human size. So I looked to the peephole. I was like, you're not going to believe this. I'm saying that to my cousin. I open up the door and I see like 6 or 9 of these really little dudes standing out underneath that light. And they're all kind of looking up and jibber jabbering with each other. They're not human. And I was like, hey. And they all simultaneously turned and looked at me. And I freaking woke up.
Whoa, that's pretty wild. Like
Yeah.
the Keebler elves?
No, they weren't elves. No,
No,
they were
elves?
kind of little, not super big headed. They weren't grays. I kind of maybe my purple friend, but they were just little things, probably maybe 3 feet tall, and proportioned bodies. And they all look very similar, of course, and just as we would. Humans would look very similar to some other beings, I'd imagine. But God, it was such a weird dream. I actually still have it in my phone. I'd forgotten about it. So, what?
Laura, did they make shoes? Elves?
They weren't elves. They weren't elves. All right.
That's
I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. No, not Oompa Loompas either, because they didn't sing. What do you get when you gobble down sweets? Eating more than an elephant eats. Excuse me. All right, I want to thank you too for being here tonight, and we'll send Lucky some nice positive healing energy.
Yes,
Out to Lucky.
definitely.
Everyone
Yes,
join
let's
us.
Send Lucky some energy.
Send Lucky, our friend Lucky, some positive energy. And Diana, please shoot me an email at onetruthwave@gmail.com. I want to talk to you about some of your traveling. And I want to thank each and every one of you out in chat for being here. And thank Millie and Trista as well. Any last parting thoughts, ladies?
Let's do part 2.
Yeah, we should. We
I
should.
found my dream journal on my phone, so I'm set for next time. I might not have any new ones, but I'll have a whole bunch of old ones.
This is my dream from 27 years ago.
But
Wait, how old
sometimes
am I?
they're relevant.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. And that one that I just told you about with the little alien dudes, that's in my phone, actually. That one's
cool.
written down. All right, my friends. Millie, Trista.
Thank you.
Thank you
See
all
you
for
all
being
next
here.
week. Thank you for staying
Yeah.
up with us.
Yeah, thank you very much. And
Love
until
you
next time,
guys.
Bye. Have a great week.
namaste.
Bye-bye.